Okay, so I think we'll start. Welcome to the second session. So it's a great pleasure to have Sudeepa Mandal from ICER talking on the growth of cuspidal cohomology of GL4 by symmetric cube transfer. Over to you.
Thank you, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity to present my work in this symposium. So, the title of the talk is on the growth of cuspidal cohomology of GL4 by symmetric cube transfer. This is based on joint work with my thesis supervisor, Dr. Chandrashil Bhatkar. So first I will introduce few things. I'll give some motivations, and then I will introduce some notations, and after that I will talk about cuspidal cohomology of GL4. Let q root minus d be an imaginary quadratic extension of q. We denote it by E. Now consider the group of ideals over E, which we denote by AE star, where AE is the group of ideals over E. The characters of this group AE star can be canonically related to algebraic Hecke characters of E. Now, using automorphic induction, we can say that every such character of this group AE star gives an automorphic form of GL2. So what does that mean? Like if you take a character of A star, it corresponds to an automorphic form of GL2, or in general setting, like if you start E to be a degree 3 extension of Q, then it corresponds to a automorphic representation of GL3AQ. So here we are starting with characters of AE star, where E is an imaginary quadratic extension, and hence it is corresponding to an automorphic form of GL2AQ. Now, this automorphic form will be a mass form if this extension is real. That means E is a real quadratic field, and it will be a holomorphic modular form if E is an imaginary quadratic field. Furthermore, this automorphic form will be a cusp form if it does not factor through the norm map. Now, the relation between the automorphic representations of GL2AQ and the cuspidal cohomology of GL2 can be described in terms of the sheaf mu tilde associated to the highest weight representation in mu of GL2R. Also, if we fix a weight and a level structure of GL2, then the space of cusp forms has finite dimension. So one can ask how much of cuspidal cohomology of GL2AQ is obtained by automorphic induction. So Chaitanya Umbi, he is an ex-student of ICER Pune. So in his thesis, he has estimated the dimension for a fixed weight and for varying level structure. So in his thesis, he has proved many things, many theorems, but here I want to mention one theorem that we needed in the proof of our main theorem. So before going to the theorem, statement of the theorem, I want to define one set, which will be denoted by Ckn. So suppose Ckn denote the set of normalized cusp eigenforms of Hecke operators of gamma 1n of weight k obtained by automorphic induction of Gaussian characters of imaginary quadratic extension. So here gamma 1n are set of 2 cross 2 matrices, and this is a subgroup of SL2J, where the to one coordinate or A to 1 that is congruent to one modem. So this set, so this CKN is a set of all normalized cusp forms of Hecke operators of gamma 1n of a fixed weight K, such that these cusp forms are coming by automorphic induction from automorphic induction of Gaussian characters of imaginary quadratic extension. So Chaitanya Ambi has given an upper bound on the cardinality of this set. So it says that take k to be a natural number, then cardinality of ckn is less than some constant into n prime power 1 plus epsilon, as n is large enough. So here n prime is the product of all distinct prime factors of n, and the constant here depends on k and epsilon. Uh, okay, now consider a cuspidal automorphic representation pi of GL2AQ. And consider the symmetric squares of transfer. Sim square pi will be a automorphic representation of GL3. So in a finite group theory, so sim square is a representation of it gives a three-dimensional representation. So here sim square pi is a Langlands transfer, and you can define a sim square pi of a sim square of a representation of GL2AQ. So here again one can ask how much of cuspidal cohomology of GL3AQ is obtained by symmetric square transfer.
You were muted for a few seconds. Like I think I missed the second point completely. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, so consider a cuspidal representation of GL2AQ. Let's denote it by pi. Then symmetric square of pi is an automorphic representation of GL3AQ. And one can ask how much of cuspidal cohomology of GL3AQ is obtained by symmetric square transfer. In his Chaitanya Ambi in his thesis again estimated this number by fixing a weight and varying the level structure. Now we want to generalize this notion. That means we want to generalize this for symmetric cube transfer. So let's start with a cuspidal automorphic representation of GL2AQ. Then symmetric cube sim cube pi is a representation of GL4AQ. So you can define sim cube as a symmetric square, like the way a symmetric square transfer is defined, and in general you can define a symmetric nth power of a representation of GL2. Now Kim Shahidi has shown that this representation is automorphic. Not only that, this representation is automorphic, and it is also cuspidal if the representation pi is not obtained by automorphic induction. So again, one can ask how much of cuspidal cohomology of GL4 is obtained from GL2 by symmetric square transfer. So we estimate the cuspidal cohomology of GL4, which is obtained by symmetric cube transfer from GL2 corresponding to a specific level structure. Now here I want to define few things first before going to the cuspidal cohomology of GL4. So first let's define the level structure. Consider the algebraic group GLM. For a finite prime P, let ZP denote the ring of periodic integers. So um, don't confuse this. This is not set of P, not group of P elements. So this denotes the ring of periodic integers. Now take an integer n, positive integer n. Then for this n and for a prime p, we define subgroup yeah, of GLM ZP. So this is a set of all m cross n matrices such that xmk belongs to p power n zp uh, when k lies between 1 to m and it is strictly less than m, and xmm minus 1 belongs to p power n zp. So this is the set of all m cross n matrices such that the entries in last row. So if you consider the first m minus 1 entries that lies in p power n zp, and the last entry which is xmm that lies in 1 plus p power n zp. Let capital N equals to let n is a natural number. Now write it as prime powers. Now we define a compact open subgroup of GLM AF. Now AF is set of all finite arrays. So we define a compact subgroup such that this is product of KP, where KP is KPIMNI. If P divides N, that is P equals to PI, and if P doesn't divide N, then this is GLM ZP. So except for finitely many primes, the rest are GLM ZP. And for that finitely many primes, this component is KPIMNI, where PI is the prime divides, and this integer, this natural number n is Ni, such that Ni occurs here. Now this subgroup, we call this subgroup the level structure corresponding to this natural number n. Next, we define the conductor of a representation. Let's start with a representation of GLM which we denote by rho H. So write rho as a tensor product of rho P, and this is the representation. This is the space. Yeah. Now for each finite prime P, the conductor rho P, the conductor of rho P is defined to be the smallest integer C rho P. Such that the set HP power KPM C rho P consisting of all KPM C rho P fixed vectors of HP is non-zero. So fix a prime P, then conductor of rho P is the set of all fixed point of HP of this subgroup KPM C rho P is non-zero. Uh, yeah, for a smallest integer, for an integer it will be non-zero, and we take the smallest integer. And which we denote it by 0. The conductor of rho will be defined as product of p power 0 p. Now, since except finitely many rho p, the rest are class 1 representation. So C rho p will be 0. So hence, except for finitely many prime p, the rest will be 1. So this will be NP will be fine. In rho will be finite. So this is the conductor of a representation. Okay, now we come to the cohomology part. Let pi be a cuspidal representation of GL4AQ. So pi can be written as tensor product of pi p. From that we denote, so there will be a finite part and infinite part. So the finite part will be denoted by pi f, and the infinite part will be denoted by pi infinity. Let's start. Let mu be a dominant integral weight corresponding to the standard Borel subgroup, and suppose in mu c be the underlying vector space. For a level structure Kf, so Kf is an compact open subgroup of GL4AF, where AF is the set of all finite adults. So for a level structure Kf, we denote, we write pi by pi f power Kf to be the Kf fixed vectors of pi f. Then we write, we say pi is cohomological with respect to pi is cohomological representation of GL4AQ with respect to this dominant weight and and the level structure Kf if for the relative Lie algebra cohomology this holds. And we denote it by pi belongs to co of GL4AQ, mu and Kf. So this is the theorem by Kim-Shaivi that I have already mentioned. But here, since it is an important theorem, I should mention it again. So this theorem is for any number field. This theorem is true for any number field. So let's start, let A be a number field and pi be a automorphic cuspidal representation of GL2AF. Then SimQ pi is actually an automorphic representation of GL4AF. Um, Furthermore, SimQ pi is cuspidal unless pi is dihedral or it is tetrahedral type. So dihedral and automorphic induction are same. The definitions are same. And tetrahedral means if you consider symmetric square of this representation pi, then symmetric square is not coming by automorphic induction, or symmetric square is not dihedral, or symmetric square is dihedral. So SimQ pi is cuspidal unless pi is coming by automorphic induction, or symmetric square pi is coming by automorphic induction. But if we take f to be q, then this condition is redundant, and it says that if we take f to be q and pi is an automorphic cuspidal representation attached to a non-dihedral holomorphic form of weight greater or equals to 2, then SimQ pi is cuspidal. Now in this slide we will define a set EKN, and we will mention the main theorem. Let EKN denote the set of cuspidal automorphic representation of GL4AQ corresponding to the level structure KF4N and highest weight mu K, which are obtained by symmetric cube transfer of cuspidal automorphic representation of GL2AQ of highest weight lambda K, which is K by 2 minus 1 minus K by 2. So again, K4 is that a subgroup of GL4AF. And in next slide, we'll define what is mu K. So this said, so EKN is actually set of all cuspidal representation of GL4AQ corresponding to a fixed level structure and a highest weight mu K, such that these are coming by symmetric cube transfer of cuspidal representation of GL2 of highest weight lambda K. So this is the main theorem that we have proved. So says that if we take n to be prime power, where p is odd prime, then this cardinality of this set is greater than greater equals to some constant into p power n. This notation means this is greater equals to some constant into p power n, where the constant depend on this k. Okay, Okay, so here we haven't talked about how the cohomology things is related to this, but in next we should mention that. So let pi be a cohomological cuspidal representation of GL2AQ. Okay. Assume that so for this representation you will have a pi infinity part and which will correspond to a highest weight. So assume that the highest weight corresponding to pi infinity is lambda k, which is k by 2 minus 1 and 1 minus k by 2, where k is an even positive integer. Okay. Let us denote symmetry cube pi by capital Pi. Let this pi, which is a sim cube pi, be the representation of GL4 EQ obtained by symmetry cube transfer. Let C pi be the conductor of pi and nu k be the highest weight corresponding to pi infinity. Then the following holds. So this shows that this nu k will be equal to this 3 into k by 2 minus 1, k by 2 minus 1, 1 minus k by 2, and 3 into 1 minus k by 2. And this pi will be actually cohomological representation of GL4 corresponding to this highest weight and the label structure Kf for C pi. So that conductor coming here. K4n. So this n is the conductor of the representation C pi. So for this nu k and level structure, pi will be cohomological. Okay. Now we'll come to the proof of the main theorem. So again, this theorem is giving a lower bound for this set, for cardinality of this set. Okay. So we'll just give the outline of the proof of the theorem. Okay. Let's start with a cuspidal automorphic representation of GL2AQ corresponding to the level structure Kf2 p power n when n greater equals to 1. So the step one, okay, let's denote okay, for a prime p, consider pi p and take sin cube of pi p. Let denote it by capital pi p. And suppose C pi p and C capital pi p be the conductor of the representation, this small pi p and this capital pi p. So the first step is to find a relation between the conductors, and we have this that C pi p is this C capital pi p lies between C pi p and 2 into C pi p. Okay. Now the next thing is that by Kim Shahidi we can see that this sim cube pi will either lie, if it is cuspidal, then it will lie in some ek p power j, or it is not cuspidal. In that case, this pi is obtained by automorphic induction. Also, for a prime p, each pi p correspond to a unique nu form in sk nu gamma 1 p power I. For some 1 less or equals to I less or equals to n with some character. So these correspond to a unique nu form, but it can come from a lower subgroup. Okay. Now we'll count the contribution of the supercuspidal representation pi p to this set. Using these above things and the relation between conductor, we can conclude that so supercuspidal representations supercuspidal representations pi p that correspond to a unique nu form such that this representation are not coming by automorphic induction, then they lies in ek p power 2n. Now this 2n is coming from the relation between conductors. So here these two is giving that 2n. In is coming from here, and that relation gives us these two. Now we use theorem 1. Theorem 1 is the upper bound for this cardinality of this set. So we use the upper bound for this set and the dimension formula for the space of new form to get the desired lower bound for this set EKP power n. Now we have the following upper bound, which is obvious. So um, dimension or space of cusp forms is order of n square. So we have the following upper bound that this actually true for p equals to 2 also, that cardinality of this set is less than some constant into p power 2n, where this constant will depend on k. Okay, so now I finished the talk and these are the main references. So before, yeah, I just want to mention one thing. So this kind of problem can be done for any kind of group GLN. So like if you consider GL6 and suppose you can then symmetric fifth power will give a start with a representation of GL2, then symmetric fifth power will give a representation of GL6. So you can ask how much of a spider homology of GL6 is coming from GL2 by symmetric fifth transfer, or if you take exterior square transfer of GL of a representation of GL4, then again you can ask how much of cuspidal homology of GL6 is obtained by uh, exterior square transfer of a representation of GL4. So now if you have a cuspidality criteria, then you can compute this kind of um, you can get this kind of results, some lower bound and upper bound. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give an applause to the speaker. Are there any questions or comments? So I have a naive question. How sharp is this bound?
The lower bound.
Well, both, okay, in your theorem, but maybe also in theorem 1. Yeah, both the lower bound and the upper bound that you had mentioned earlier. All of them.
Yeah, this is not very sharp. This is not very sharp. This is actually very less, but.
So what is the is there an expected best expected answer?
No, like I do not have an expected answer, but like you can say that at least we'll have this much representation of GL4 that is coming from coming by symmetric cube transfer. And the upper bound is also like this might not be a very good upper bound also. This is an obvious upper bound that it cannot exceed that theorem.
Well, if there are no more questions, let's thank the speaker again. And we'll start, I suppose, at